Yo, what is up, Gen Nation? ScytheX here with the Multiversal Podcast, episode 9. It's not GGEN if it's not a train wreck, okay? I'm just gonna throw it out there right now. It's not GGEN if it's not a train wreck. I just did a half hour worth of the show with my mic muted. I'm gonna throw that out there and admit that to everybody listening. So, train wreck. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to, redo everything I just did with now that you guys can hear me. So this is episode 9. We're gonna get through it much quicker than I previously just did. We are on all podcast channels, Spotify, Amazon, etc. Thank you for listening on those podcast channels. Just search GGEN and you will find us on your favorite app on your Android or iPhone. We also have merch available. Shirts, shorts, cups, mugs, hoodies, all the good stuff, and all the merch goes directly into helping us improve the channel to put out a better quality content for you. So if you are picking up merch, comment, let us know on Facebook, Twitter, how you're liking what you got, how you're liking it, etc. And we truly appreciate that. Now, I just went through this whole thing with Mayans, but the Mayan finale, it was fantastic. Like I was saying before that you couldn't hear me, it left the door open for multiple storylines to go. Adelita being in the cartel, Galindo coming back to the cartel to work with this cartel. So she basically empowers him on the US side, so he's back in play. Galindo having his kid back, Angel getting his kid back from Adelita, but she's keeping the secret that she's working for the cartel, basically. Even though it's crazy because her whole thing from the jump was a rebellion against the cartels, specifically Galindo's. Now they're working together, which is even more interesting. So that storyline's happening. Easy kills off his prison king, who's been holding information, about him, about Easy being a snitch and all this stuff, talking to the feds. And he basically, gives the guy a choice. He's like, you can take this gun, put a bullet in your head, and I'll hand all this money to your family. Or you could try something stupid. I put the bullet in your head and your family gets nothing. And the dude tried something stupid, and Easy put him down, and boom. That was the end of it. But now the family's looking for him, and the wife going crazy. She was crazy to begin with. Treated the dude like shit anyway. And she kind of thinks Easy had something to do with it. And it's going to be interesting. Easy also triggers the kill switch in the church, which he basically, the way Bishop got removed as president, he tells Alvarez to trigger the kill switch which Alvarez wrote in the original Bible of the Mayans, which basically puts a vote to everyone and removes the president, who's in power at the time. And Easy triggers the kill switch on Alvarez now that he's, you know, back as president or whatever. And he basically gets a unanimous vote. Like, they want war. They want to go to war with the Suns big time. They want blood. And Alvarez was trying to find the peaceful solution. And nobody was wanting that. They didn't want the peaceful solution. So here we are. Kill switch engaged, and boom, Alvarez is out. Easy's now the president. Easy then appoints Bishop to be vice president. And Angel is not happy about the vote. He wanted the peaceful situation. He doesn't want to fight. It seems like Angel doesn't want to fight anymore now that he has his kid. And but he's unaware of Adelita fighting on the cartel side. And part of the kill switch of removing Alvarez was working with the cartel with its giant warehouse of heroin. And you know, starting the pipeline again, basically, and getting money back to the club. And it seems like at the end, I believe it's Angel. It seems like Angel burns down the warehouse full of weed, which is gonna, you know, obviously cause tension with the cartel and the Mayans. Adelita's probably gonna be hunting whoever did it. It's gonna end up being Angel. It's gonna cause this whole weird thing, you know. And nobody in the club knows that Adelita's back and he has a kid with Adelita and the kid's alive and all that stuff. So that's another weird storyline happening. You know, Easy's storyline of being president now. Alvarez's chapter apparently closes. We may see him here and there, but I think he's pretty much done with Mines at this point. They gave him somewhat of a clean send-off. And yeah, and the whole season is going to be basically the war with the Suns. I mean, we got to see Chibs. We got to see, you know, not Chibs, Tig. We get to see Tig, who we haven't seen since the Suns, basically. Having a friendly conversation with Alvarez and trying to come up with like a peaceful solution so the clubs aren't warring, because, you know, Sam Crow and, you know, Alvarez have a history, and they kind of buried their history together in the Suns series. So now with all this brewing, you know, and the war between Santo Padre and the rest of the Mayans with the other chapters of the Suns, and now that Alvarez is out, it's the next season is going to be full-blown war, and it's going to be epic. All next season is going to be epic between the cartel shit, the Angel Adelita shit, the Easy side shit, the Easy president shit, the Sons of Anarchy. Like, it's just going to be nuts. Next season is going to be nuts. This finale was great. It ended crazy. There's so many different storylines going on, and I cannot wait. You should highly catch up. I highly recommend you starting the series if you haven't already. Catch up and get ready for the next season, because it's going to be absolutely wild. Mr. Buzzworth says next season is going to be nuts. Going to be nuts. Absolutely. Mr. Buzzworth, I spent like 20 minutes talking about this and my mic was muted, so the train wreck continues for Gen Nation. But so we circled back around, we got through it. That was the Mayans finale. I'm probably forgetting something that I mentioned 20 minutes ago, but it was a fantastic finale. Left the doors open for a ton of storylines, and I cannot wait for next season. Again, Easy's in control now. Bishop's back in a power chair, and it's gonna get wild. It's going to get wild. Also, Potter's back. That's that's Psycho Federal Agent. So the whole thing is just going to be nuts. Next season is going to be nuts. And speaking of nuts, we're gonna revisit Obi-Wan. This finale is some of the best Star Wars cinematography, I guess you could say. The best Star Wars we've seen on screen in live action. This finale had the best fight scene that I can remember. Of any prequel, sequel, old. It was incredible. It was incredible. Now, I hate The Last Jedi. I've said it a million times. It's one of the worst Star Wars movies ever made, and the worst being Rise of Skywalker. But I hated The Last Jedi. We could have got such a cool Kylo Ren, Luke Skywalker fight. They gave us bullshit. They gave us dog shit. However, The Last Jedi did give us a cool Rey, Kylo Ren team up lightsaber battle in Snook's throne room or whatever, with the Imperial guards and everything. It doesn't come close. It doesn't come close to the fight we got between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. Darth Vader in his prime. Obi-Wan getting his strength back. The whole series is basically Obi-Wan regaining his connection to the Force. And by the time they have their showdown, I still think Obi-Wan was not powerful enough yet. But it was... He like... And I mean it as far as like his max potential, but he was powerful enough to defeat Vader, which is insane. Like the way, like the first half of the fight, Vader's beating his ass. Second half of the fight, Obi-Wan levels up and goes Super Saiyan and just puts the hurt to Vader, and it was fantastic. And then they keep cutting away and showing us Reva, and like I know we have to tie up this storyline of Reva hunting, the Skywalker kids and whatever. Every time they cut away, I was getting pissed off because I just wanted the full episode of them fighting, because it was that epic. It was that epic. Obi-Wan and whoever the person was who like thought of this, thank you. Thank you for having Vader be agile and not a stiff robot. Because if you watch Vader, like in the old movies, he's a stiff robot, man. Like, he's fighting Luke and Obi-Wan and whatever in the old movies, and he's basically turning his whole body, holding a lightsaber, and he's doing his thing. Obviously, he's super powerful, whatever, and he wins these fights or whatever. But he's just so stiff with it, He's so stiff with it. When he's fighting Obi-Wan, he had complete flexibility, complete crazy agile. He's moving around like he didn't have all this robotic shit on him. It was a beautiful, beautiful fight. Mr. Bosworth said, I would have to say this series is by far the best Star Wars series in the franchise. It's up there, man. The only thing that comes close to it right now for me is Mandalorian, because Mandalorian is a master class in writing, in shots, filming, casting choices. Like it is a masterclass. But this Obi-Wan show delivered in the best way possible. It also left the door open for Obi-Wan to go on his own for a season 2. It left the door open for Darth Vader to go on his own for his own show, which we need 100%, because this is the best version of Vader we've ever gotten since Rogue One. Like, Rogue One and Obi-Wan, the best Vaders, like, ever. But Obi-Wan goes on his path, and Mr. Butterworth says Obi-Wan finally was able to talk to Qui-Gon at the end. Dude, I went nuts. Yes, it was awesome. And Qui-Gon didn't have to say much. It was short, sweet. It was, you know, it was simply, I've been here the whole time. You just weren't ready to see me, type of thing. Basically how it was basically like Luke, you know, seeing the Force Ghosts. He wasn't ready to see that until the end of the trilogy. It's basically signifying Obi-Wan finally leveled up to his potential enough to see Force Ghosts. And it was so cool to see Qui-Gon back in that capacity. And like I said, it left them down their path of a season 2 of, you know, rebuilding the Jedi Order, basically. Now, again, we need a Vader show, because we need to see pissed off Vader going ham on the galaxy and just building this empire into some crazy force to be reckoned with, and just going nuts. We don't, you know, he can cross paths with Obi-Wan, I guess. But we, you know, we've been down that path. We don't. It would be cool to see them cross paths, but if we can see Vader just going through the galaxy. DC, what's up? Welcome. Thank you for coming through. If we can see Vader like going off on his own in the galaxy with building the Empire and just being a complete ass across the universes, that would be a show in itself, and I'm all for it. But if they want to give us another season of Obi-Wan and Vader fighting each other, you can do that too, because that fight scene was the best Star Wars thing ever. It was awesome. It was 100% awesome, like beyond awesome. I can't say much else. Like, I get goosebumps thinking about the fight. It was incredible. Incredible. When Obi-Wan levels up and just shoots the rocks off from being buried and just lifts a whole thing of rock. Oh my God, bro. It was so cool. That whole scene was so cool, man. And the girl who is young Leia, what a great casting choice. She was awesome. She killed it. That girl has a bright future in acting, because she was incredible. So shout out to her. I don't know her real name, so I apologize, but she put a masterclass of acting. For especially somebody of her age. And Hayden Christensen coming back as Vader. And hold on. When Obi-Wan breaks the helmet, slices the helmet, and you see half of Anakin's face and, you know, half Vader helmet, and you're hearing Anakin's voice and the Vader voice like fighting each other because the helmet's all fucked. Oh my God, bro. That whole episode was just a whole, like, it was insane. We're gonna deep dive this shit on Tuesday during the theater room. But that episode was bonkers. It was completely bonkers. If you're a hint of a Star Wars fan, watch Obi-Wan. Like, all you need to know about Star Wars is the prequels. You don't need to watch Mandalorian. I'm obviously watch Mandalorian because it's top tier Star Wars. But as far as like continuity and like chronicle time of like the events, You just need to watch the prequels, and then you can watch Obi-Wan. It's masterful. It's a masterpiece of Star Wars cinema on Disney Plus. It was so good. And I think the next show coming to Disney Plus is Andor. And that's going to be basically, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to introduce Thrawn, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Buzzworth says, no question, after this show, Vader needs his own show and start his show after the Obi-Wan showdown. Yeah, 100%. Vader needs his own show. Hands down. Cece says she's chilling. Thank you for coming through, Cece. But yeah, so next up is Andor, which I believe is in August. And that I think that's going to introduce Admiral Thrawn, and I think that's where they're going to introduce you to this character, because Ahsoka in her show is going to be hunting Thrawn. That's basically the whole basis of Ahsoka right now. That's her whole purpose, is to hunt Thrawn down. So I think Andor, they're gonna kind of introduce him, and then you'll get the full-blown Thrawn in Ahsoka. But yeah, that's coming, I believe, in August. Also, interesting enough, we had Miss Marvel episode 3. Andor is supposed to be a setup for Ahsoka. Yeah, so that's why I'm saying, like, it's going to introduce Thrawn. But yeah, so I'm not gonna go anymore on Obi-Wan. The series started, it starts slow, and just like Obi, building up his Force abilities, his strength, connecting back to the Force and getting stronger and stronger. The episodes get stronger and stronger as it goes. So I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. But if you want to hear us deep dive on the whole series and really get into this finale, tune into the theater room on Tuesday, because it's going to be a good one. But Miss Marvel episode 3, I like the episode. Like, here's my problem with Miss Marvel. The stuff I'm seeing, I kind of like. I don't hate it. I like it. It's kind of cool. The show is clearly not for me, and I understand that. It's definitely for kids. It's for, teenagers, essentially. The weird thing, it's weird that it gives me that strong of like a teeny bopper vibe when Spider-Man's also a high schooler, and we don't get that vibe. At least I don't. I don't get this vibe of like, man, this Spider-Man movie is too young for me. Like, I get that vibe with Miss Marvel. It's strange. It's strange. But at the same time, they do show you some cool things in it. But what's really weird about episode 3 and has me completely lost on what's happening, the bracelet that essentially gives or activates, whatever she is, activates her power, Miss Marvel's power. The bracelet comes from a temple, a buried temple of the 10 rings. So her bracelet is like part of the 10 rings, and it makes no sense. Like, why would her powers be associated with the 10 rings when she's like essentially is supposed to be an inhuman? But they're calling her people like jinns, which is like, another dimension being. And then the people hunting her, wanting the bracelet, were called What were they called? Something with a C. I can't remember. It was something with a C. It was just like, I'm so confused on like who these people are. Because we know what they're supposed to be. But it's changed into this other thing, and I'm completely lost. I don't know the history on it. I couldn't tell you if it's made up just for the show, which in my eyes it seems to be. But if there is actual Marvel history of what's happening, I have no knowledge of it at this point. I'm just highly confused on because she's supposed to be an Inhuman. You know, she's supposed to hit a Terrigen Mist. No, she's not. They're not Celestials. They're what the hell was it? Let me look it up because it's gonna bother me. Clandestines? Is that it? Yeah, they're clandestines, basically, is what they're called, which is a secret family of superhumans from another dimension. So there is some sort of history to it, but it doesn't like... it's not making sense to me on why someone who's supposed to be an Inhuman who gets powers from Terrigen Mist is not an Inhuman in the show who gets power from a bracelet from the 10 rings. I just don't know what's happening, honestly. So that episode 3 happened. We'll learn more in episode 4, and we'll talk about it again on the theater room. But I honestly, my knowledge of Marvel Comics in this area is nowhere to be found. Like I'm just lost on what's happening and how it ties into, you know, the bigger picture, I guess. I mean, Shang-Chi, I get it's more, this is Miss Marvel's more connected to Shang-Chi than Captain Marvel at this point. It's a cosmic 10 ring. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. We'll find out, I guess, in episode 4 or something. It's just super confusing. So episode 3 happened last week as well, this past week, and I'm more lost now than I was when we started that show. So sticking with Marvel put out a big announcement that they are returning to Hall H at the San Diego Comic-Con. And the question is, what are they going to announce? They don't show up to Comic-Con unless they have something major to announce. And the last time they were there, which was, I believe, 2018 or 2019, they announced Phase 4. And Phase 4 is coming to an end next week, basically, or in 2 weeks. We are at the end of Phase 4. Thor: Love and Thunder, as you can see from this image, if you're watching on Twitch and YouTube, was supposed to come out in November. Thor is now coming out in July, in a couple weeks, and it is the final movie of Phase 4. Everything else came out already. We saw Doctor Strange. We saw What If, Loki, Hawkeye, WandaVision, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Falcon, Black Widow. All these movies came out. We saw, and also, you know, Spider-Man. Marvel doesn't list it because it's a Sony property, but Spider-Man's in there. We saw all that. Thor is the last thing on the list. And unless She-Hulk is somehow phase 4 as well, which is very possible. But as far as the movies go, Thor is the last. And the running theory is they're going to announce phase 5 at Hall H and probably give us a trailer to something they've been working on. Maybe Black Panther 2. Maybe we get something from Guardians 3 because they've been filming. Who knows? Who knows what they show us? We could get Daredevil footage for Disney Plus, you know? Who knows? Sky's the limit of what Marvel Studios can show us. But I believe we're going to get phase 5 roadmap, which is going to be awesome. We're going to see the legit roadmap, and phase 5, the end of phase 5 is going to finally be I'm not going to call it the end game, but it's going to be basically the end game of where we've been heading this whole time. Phase 4 has kind of been like a jumble of random shit. But Quantum, Ant-Man Quantum, I think is going to fall under phase 5 and springboard us to where we're heading. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. I can't wait to see us. San Diego, I think, is next month as well. So hopefully, you know, we get the rundown. We'll break down the roadmap and what's coming. And I'm sure there's going to be surprises that we're not expecting. They'll probably announce Fantastic Four and maybe they'll show actors and stuff like that. Maybe we'll get something with Blade. Who knows what else? The sky's the limit with what they can show us. So I cannot wait for that. When Marvel comes to San Diego Comic-Con, they come big. And that's going to be fun. Next is basically a quick thing about Netflix. Netflix is turning into Hulu. They're going to be adding ads to the platform. It's going to be at a cheaper price, but the ads will be there. And Netflix just continues to get worse and worse as the years go on. Then we have Top Gun. Top Gun is reaching $1 billion. They are almost there. They got over the 900 million mark. Ant-Man will probably be big at San Diego and introduce their new TV series. Probably. I expect to see something with Black Panther. I expect to see something with Ant-Man, possibly Daredevil. We might even get some Deadpool 3 footage or something with that. Finally an announcement about X-Men. Like, who knows what we're gonna get. But speaking of Top Gun has made it over $900 million. $900 million. I'm a big Top Gun fan. I have yet to see this movie because I'm a failure because I've been busy, but I cannot wait to see it. This movie is arguably being called the best movie of 2022, and I need to get my ass to the theater and watch it because I was expecting it to be insane to begin with. So if legit everyone who's seen the movie is saying it's ridiculous, it's the best movie of the year, I can't wait to see it. So shout out to Tom Cruise and Top Gun for smashing the box office right now. And lastly, we have The Boys. I am a piece of shit and haven't been catching up on The Boys. I've only watched episode 1. So the watch parties will start back up. Episode 2 will be next. We'll be doing that this week. So stay tuned for that. But apparently the last episode was out of control and everyone was talking and going crazy over it. So I can't wait to catch up and see what the hell happened. So we'll be trying to do that. And that's going to, kind of blend us into the gaming verse now. Hideo Kojima recently just announced that he was in the process of making a new game that was going to be similar to The Boys. He halted the project after watching a few episodes of The Boys season 1. And the reason he halted the project was he didn't want to get influenced by The Boys, because the game was basically the same thing as what The Boys is, you know, like realistic superheroes in a realistic world. Like, what would happen? Like, if superpowered people existed in our world, what would it look like? And that's The Boys. And I guess that was the game he was creating. And he stopped watching The Boys to not influence his thinking on the game. But for right now, I guess whatever game he was working on is halted. But I thought that was interesting. And gets me thinking of what would a Boys video game look like. It's not going to be like Avengers or Spider-Man, right? Like, yeah, those games are, you know, like Spider-Man's fantastic. The writing and everything is fantastic or whatever. But you can't make The Boys like that. Like, I feel like The Boys would have to be just a gory mess of like wild shit. I don't even know how. I don't know how you would do it as a video game, but it would be dope. I'd be all about it. Also, some TV gaming news. We have Cal Kestis from Jedi Fallen Order and the new game Jedi Survivor that's coming. It was announced that we are getting a Disney Plus TV show revolving around Cal Kestis, which is amazing. I was thinking we were going to see him somehow in Obi-Wan or somewhere in, you know, Mandalorian or something like that, but it could make sense that he's just not found yet. You know what I mean? Like, he's just out there, not found yet, like just remaining dormant in his own. He could have been one of the Jedi that's gone through that tunnel from Obi-Wan. Like, who knows? But they announced that he's getting his own show, which is awesome because he's a great actor to begin with, and his character was amazing in the game, and I can't wait to continue as his character in the game. And I 100% can't wait to watch a show with his character. So look out for that, because that's going to be a fun trailer to watch when we finally get that. I feel like he's going to pop up in a show in some sort of show before we see him in his own. You know what I mean? Just to kind of get some more hype around it, and to get people to introduce to the character who haven't played the games yet. You know what I mean? Mr. Butler says it could be like Dead Space or even the Resident Evil games. The Boys game would have to be a third-person game. Yeah, for sure. For sure, third person. It would have to be as gory as like Resident Evil. Yeah, that game would just be out of control. But yeah, no. So Cal Kestis is coming to Disney Plus live action, and I cannot wait. Next up, we have, real quick, Microsoft Edge. Now, why am I bringing up an internet browser? Microsoft announced that Edge is adding a gaming tab to the homepage. So basically, it's going to be a customizable homepage that's going to be littered with gaming news and stuff like that. And if you're signed into your Xbox account, it's going to be news tailored to you, and also give you news and notifications and things pertaining to your account and like the games that you have downloaded and the games you like and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. It's not really needed, but it's kind of cool. Figure out, throw it out there and mention it. So look out for Edge's gaming update, I guess. Next up, TMNT. This game came out a couple weeks ago, and if you've been watching or listening to this podcast in the past, in any episode that involved the turtles, I've mentioned a million times how excited I am to play this game, and I can't wait for it. And now that it's out, it lives up to that expectation. TMNT Shredder's Revenge is a 9 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10. It's not a 10 because it's not long enough. The game needs to be longer. It loses a point because it's not enough gaming. I need more. I need more. I don't know what else to say other than I need more of this game. So it's a 9 out of 10 for me. It hits you in every way. Nostalgia. It's a classic beat 'em up old school game, and it feels and acts just like the old school arcade games did back in the day. Turtles in Time, Turtles 2 Arcade, like it legit feels just like that. And the fact that it's 6-player co-op and you can have all 4 turtles, April, Splinter, Casey Jones is coming, not yet, but he's coming, and who knows who else they're adding. Like, you can legit have 6 players co-op running through this thing, and it's just silly fun. The game is silly fun. I would love to have a community day where we're all playing together and just beating the piss out of this game, just having laughs. Like, this game is so much fun. Mr. Buttersworth says TMNT is so much fun. I agree. I just said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000 more. It's a fantastic game. It's basically perfect, other than it's not long enough. It's so much fun. Like, the levels, they're like kind of variants of the old school levels with twists to them. It like basically moves the same, like it's left to right, and then all of a sudden the level will go down, but it's very, 2D in its own way. And then you have, your level where you're on like a hoverboard or whatever, you know what I mean? Like a skateboard, hoverboard, whatever. It's like, it hits you all the nostalgia feels, man. It's perfect. It's perfect. It just needs to be longer. They made it too short for us, man. Us old school heads who love turtles. Like this, the game is so good. It is so good. And I cannot wait for the collections to come out. The Cowabunga collection to come out. I think that comes out in the fall. Because I'm going to play the shit out of the old school games on top of this one as well. Like, this game is a type of game. Like, I got this game for free on my Game Pass for PC. I still ended up buying the game on my Switch. I had to, because now I can sit on the couch or wherever and rock out this game without having to sit at my setup. Like, that's how much fun this game is. I'm like, even though it's free, I'm still buying it for other platforms so I can play it. Like, it's just, the game is well worth it. If you don't have Game Pass, you have PlayStation or Nintendo Switch, it's only like $20. Highly recommend it. If you're a fan of Ninja Turtles, if you're not a fan of Ninja Turtles, and you just want to play a beat 'em up game that's silly fun, highly recommend it. It is fantastic. With that being said, quick announcement. Santa Monica and Cory Barlog heavily hinting on news coming from God of War. The rumor is there is a PlayStation State of Play coming up, which is going to be heavily God of War focused. That is the rumor. We don't know if it's true or not. There has been no announcement of that. But the rumor is that it's going to be a God of War heavy focused state of play, and we'll finally get our release date. And when Cory Barlog is, he's thrown out, encrypted messages on Twitter and things like that, we know something is brewing. Naughty Dog did the same thing, like for Last of Us. Like, we know something's brewing, and they're about to spill. Or no, he did this for the God of War announcement like ages ago on a previous state of play when they finally announced it. Something's brewing, and he's not allowed to say it yet, but we're gonna hear about it soon. So that is the current rumor God of War. So stay tuned, keep your eyes peeled for that. Lastly, we have one more thing after this. GTA 6. Yeah, GTA 6, the game that's never coming. There's been a lot of leaks and from reputable sources who's leaked a lot of stuff involving the current game, with the online updates, announcing Dr. Dre being a part of the online update, and then that ended up being true and stuff like that. So his leaks have been, legitimate for the most part. And one of the leaks is saying that Nico, what the hell was his last name? Was it Nico Bellic from GTA 4? Is going to be a playable character or a story mode character of some sort. He's going to be involved again in GTA. And people are thinking he's going to be in GTA 6. Now, obviously, that's just a rumor. There's also a rumor of Michael from GTA 5 returning and being a part of GTA 6. Now, some people are thinking, hey, maybe Michael is filming a movie in Vice City, and that's what's bringing him down there. It's very possible. It could also just be possible that Michael's just... Yeah, Nico Bellic. I thought so. It's also possible that Michael's just returning for a future online update that's coming. Which comes to the next leak that a Liberty City expansion is possibly coming to the current GTA Online map, which would be incredible for one, because Liberty City is my favorite city in all of Grand Theft Auto. This is going to my next point of GTA 4 remake possibly in the works. They've remade every game basically besides GTA 4 at this point. GTA 4 is running off of a Xbox 360 PS3 engine, so it needs a remake if they are going to be doing that. If they're in the world of remakes right now, GTA 4 definitely needs love in that respect. But if they are planning on remaking 4 and they're gonna plan on expanding the GTA Online world and add Liberty City to it, because they're making it, because they have it made for the remake. You catch what I'm saying? Like they're rebuilding the city. They're gonna add it to online. They're gonna add it to the remake. Nico Bellic is returning. Is he returning because of the remake? Is he returning to add to the online story that's, ever evolving? We don't know, but it's interesting to see how this plays out. Also, GTA 6 the campaign is said to be including a brother-sister protagonist, where they have different paths. Like the brother is a DEA agent in Vice City, where the sister's, a cartel member or something like that. The prologue of the game from this leak is saying it's going to start in Brazil or Colombia, somewhere in South America. And then, it'll, after the prologue, it'll, jump time to the current time in a modern day, Vice City. So it's going to be interesting to see as we get closer to some sort of announcement of GTA 6. But we may see bits and pieces of GTA 6 coming to life in the online world. So we just, you know, I hate telling people be patient, but we got to be patient because the more that the leaks are coming out means the more that the game is getting finished and that there's more information to put out. You know what I'm saying? So like we're inching closer to the big reveal and I cannot wait. But if we're going to get a giant, you know, update and have Liberty City added to online, and then all of a sudden we have Vice City added to online, and now we have what, Los Santos, Vice City, Liberty City all in the online world. Like, the map is evolving, the possibilities are endless. And for modders who do GTA RP, you know, roleplay GTA, like I do. If you watch me on my ScytheX channel, we do a lot of GTA RP there on NoPixel, and the map is only Los Santos because that's all that's available right now. You know, other servers, you know, play around with the old school Liberty City, but it looks so bad because there's not much they can do because it was built for the PlayStation 3. It was built for the Xbox 360. So if they remake Liberty City, there's potential for the role players to get a server in Liberty City and have it look amazing, or have, you know, a map of Los Santos, Vice City, and Liberty City, and have all three cities be connected in the same world and be able to fly to each other, drive to each other, whatever, and just expand the world of roleplay and expand the world of GTA Online in general would be dope as hell. So I'm excited for the news. GTA 6 is one of the most anticipated games ever. GTA 5, love it or hate it, it is the single most successful video game of all time. It's lasted 3 decades, 3 generations of consoles, and it's outsold every single generation. Like, there's no disputing the success of GTA 5. And the fact that they can just keep remaking it and then people still keep buying it and the sales are through the roof and all this shit, and they're constantly evolving the online world, which is cool. But it's in the GTA 5 world still. The fact that they're still supporting it for this long just tells you, you know, how successful that game is. And I cannot wait to see what 6 brings us and how it amplifies what we've been used to in GTA 5. You know what I mean? Like, possibilities are endless with this. I cannot wait for GTA 6. And if the remake of GTA 4 is coming, sign me up. The last bit of gaming news before we break down what's coming out in July is Overwatch was announced. Overwatch 2, let me start over. It was announced that Overwatch 2 is not going to join Overwatch 1 on the launcher. It's going to replace Overwatch 1. So if you're a fan of Overwatch 1 and you're still playing it heavy, Overwatch 2 is just going to wipe that game off and take over. What if you hate Overwatch 2 and you want to go back to 1? Too bad. It's taking over, which is unfortunate. I think that sucks. You should have both. I'm sure there's going to be a giant outcry and they're going to re-add 1 to the list again, because from what I'm hearing is no one's really excited for Overwatch 2. A lot of people just think it's, you know, it's basically Overwatch 1. It's just like a copy pasta. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see when it finally comes out. Which brings us to the July releases. Now, these are the games that are scheduled, as far as we know, to come out in July. There could be a state of play, a Nintendo Direct, or an Xbox announcement that kind of fills in, you know, dates and shows, gives us new games that might come out this month. But as of now, this is what we know. Arcadegon. This is coming out on new gen and old gen, July 5th. F1 Racing 2022 is coming out on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, July 1st. Klonoa Fantasy Riviere series is coming out on the Switch, July 8th. Monument Valley Panoramic Edition and Monument Valley 2 Panoramic Edition is coming to PC on July 12th. Crut the Mythic Wings is basically on all platforms, coming July 12th. Zell on PC and Switch on July 12th. Loopmancer on PC, July 13th. The Tale of Biston on PC, Xbox One, and Series X on July 13th. And I'm guessing the PC is Game Pass. Super UFO Fighter is coming to PC and Switch, which is July 14th. That's interesting. Super UFO Fighter, that could be interesting. Clan Folk is a Steam Early Access PC game, July 14th. Stray, which is coming to PC, PS4, and PS5, July 19th. Stray is going to also be free and included in your PS Plus. If you're a member of PS Plus, which nowadays everyone pretty much is, that is going to be a free game to download to add to your library when the game is released. Stray is basically the cat game. You're a cat roaming around the city. We don't really know what your objective is, but maybe it's just to get a bowl of milk. Who knows? But it is free. You'll be able to download it, check it out, whatever. That's coming July 19th. As Dusk Falls. It's coming out on PC, Xbox One, and Series X, July 19th. Endling Extinction is Forever. PC, PS4, Switch, Xbox One, July 19th. Wayward Strand. PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, and Switch. All platforms, pretty much. July 21st. Post Void, PS4, PS5, and Switch, July 21st. Capcom Arcade Second Stadium, July 22nd. That's going to be fun. There's a lot of Capcom arcade games coming. Bear and Breakfast, PC, Switch, July 28th. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Switch, July 29th. That's a pretty big release right there. And Live Alive, I guess. It's coming to the Switch on, it doesn't even say, July 29th, I guess. Or July 30th, possibly. But, cuts off. But yeah, so those are all your July games. Again, more could be coming. It's just not announced yet. We'll find out. If Edith Finch 2 Don't Stop, we riot. Facts confirmed. Trigun, welcome to the chat. Thank you for showing up when it's over. GG, my guy. Just playing, bro. Thank you for coming through. But yeah, so those are the games for July. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what gets added. Because we do have a state of play coming, like I said. It wasn't officially announced, but it's heavily hinted that it's coming, and the focus is most likely going to be God of War, so we'll see what happens. But maybe they announce other games as well coming in July. Next episode is episode 10. We'll see what kind of crap we get into episode 10. We'll probably be talking about Thor: Love and Thunder, possibly, because I think it'll be out by the time the next episode comes out, and who knows what other game announcements we have until then. We're in game announcement season. We're not in game release season, unfortunately, but we got Comic-Con coming. We got who knows what other announcements coming in the gaming world. So there's a lot coming, and we'll be on top of it. We'll try to get you all the information we can that we think is, important enough to talk about and exciting enough to talk about, and we'll see what happens. But that will do it for episode 9. Shout out to Matt Churn for giving us the song Jungle, and the link will be in the description. So shout out to Matt Churn for the beat, and shout out to everyone in Gen Nation who's listening live on Twitch. Hit that follow button if you are new. If you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, throw a comment in there, and let us know what you thought of this episode and what you're excited for. And if you are listening on the podcast channels, we appreciate it. We see you out there. The numbers don't lie. You guys are listening, and we see that. So we appreciate that. We appreciate that a lot, honestly. And again, we do have merch available. The merch will directly, support the channel, help us provide more content, better content for you. And we also have a sub button on Twitch. So if you're feeling like supporting the channel in that way, that would be greatly appreciated. But again, this is episode 9. So if you're looking for, episode 2 and stuff, like the earlier episodes are going to start falling off the podcast channels, just a FYI, because we need the storage for the new episodes. So we're going to start, kicking off the old ones and, introducing all the new episodes. This way you'll always have the current stuff. And if you want to listen to the old stuff or catch up on something you missed, it'll always be on YouTube. So you have that available to you. So make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel so you can get that older content as it falls off the podcast channels. Because let's be real, we need the space for the newer stuff. So we appreciate you rocking with us with that. And yeah, that'll do it. This is episode 9. I am ScytheX. I appreciate you guys all listening, and we'll see you next time. And Theater Room coming Tuesday. Stay tuned for that. We're gonna dive deep into Obi-Wan, more than I did here today. So yeah, got a lot to talk about. See you next time.